Hello, my name is Miguel Ramos. I'm driving with LL Chris with a Ferrari 458. This year we started with the 430. We have done the first two races. On the third race we started with a new car, the 458. I'm going to explain a little bit about the main differences between the 430 and the 458. Basically, generally, this car has more grip because it has more aerodynamic, but to compensate that, in order to balance the cars here on the championship, it has more weight. So it is faster cornering, but at straight it's not so fast as the 430 up so far. So the big challenge on this car is to do a setup that we can be faster in the corners, because we know that on the straights we are losing time, especially for the GT3 and for the Porsche that have much more power. So basically the big difference is the brakes are more or less the same, so it's the same type of configuration, but the tires are much larger than the 430, and also the aerodynamics of the car is more strong, so much more downforce on the front and also on the rear because of these parts, because of the bonnet. One very thing on this car very different from the 430 is the interior. The interior of this car seems much more racing car, like a prototype. I can show you. The interior is really nice. You have a paddle shift on the gearbox, so it's in electronic gearbox control, electronic control. So it's quite easy to work. I'll show you. So the steering wheel has here paddle shift on this part. Very easy. Still not in a perfect way, so we're still working on the electronics because it's not yet as faster as the mechanical shifting that we have in the 430. And also you have here the pit, the launch, you have radio, you have traction control, you have the drinks, you can have control the mixtures of the engine. So it's really quite interesting, much easier than the 430. Also, this car, compared to the other, it has air conditioning that in some occasions like this one here, it really helps, because today is 37 degrees, and without the air conditioning on the car we are above 60. So on a long race this really helps. Of course you lose a little bit of power, but on the race I think the pilot have a fresh air really helps a lot on the performance. So we come to the back. Again, it's the engine is I've spoken before. The big difference on the engine is not the engine itself for the 430, but it's the weight of the car. So the balance between power and weight is worse than the 430. And aerodynamically the splitter is much better than the 430, and also all the car is more in carbon, so it's much more perfect. So really basically I will say it's a car that you enjoy much more to drive, because it's more like a prototype and less like a touring car. So it's a concept of GT that is more near to what I like. What it really misses on this car is to have a little bit more power, but that is according to the rules of the championship. If they allow it to have bigger restrictor, I think the car will be much better. This is the only thing. The rest, the car is really perfect, fun to drive. You drive like a go-kart. You get less tired than in the 430. The 430 is more difficult to drive, but it's faster on the straight. Basically, is this.